What up everybody and welcome to this wonderful video. My name is Reynaldo, but you can call me Reynamations. Now you are watching one of many, and I do mean many, 15-minute drawing videos. This time around I'm drawing a not concept or nothing like that. It'll be just a fan drawing of Natsu Dragneel from Dragneel or Dragmere? I think it's Dragmere from Fairy Tale. As you can see, I already have my references on the side, and I do highly recommend that you always have references. Now you can see in most of my videos I do not have references, but that's because I'm trying to draw from my imagination. Now those are the harder drawings because you're not drawing your proportions and everything feel a lot more off than what they are. Like for example, if I was ever to draw this face right here, I'm not sure if you could see. I'm pointing at the Natsu Dragneel face right in the corner, right, right there. So if I was ever to draw that face, I can always just take my line, do something like that, pretend it ends up here, so it ends over here, and then I could always just do a circle thing that covers up this whole entire face, and I know that that's the proportions for this head. Probably ends somewhere here, so it's gonna be something like that, and so on and so forth. And you could always erase. Now I'm using Sketchbook Pro, and simply like this, I already have a basic head shape that I could always just refine. And then just instead of doing that, see, it already looks like an anime head. And the nose is pretty simple. Just have it exactly where this line is of the arrow. Just have it right there. Be just that, and then the nostril, and so on and so forth. You can actually add a mouth. His eyes are kind of weird. Just letting you know. Well, not weird, but like very interesting to look at. Cause like in all the pictures, is kind of looks like, let's say I add the mirror modifier right here, and then just bring it over to this point. I'm doing it like that so that I only have to draw one eye. Now, let's say that this is the distance between two eyes. So that'll be up to here, so on and so forth. Let's add the eyes. It'll be something like that, and then it will go really high up, and then it'll angle out like this, and it gets thicker because those corners tend to get thicker because of eyebrows and stuff. Because he looks kind of angry, it's gonna be something like that. His eyes are gonna go inwards. This is gonna circle out about, not too much though. Doesn't really have a closing point right there or there or there or there. You know what I mean. So this is not perfect, obviously, for this purpose of the sake. It like, let's pretend that it was this, but obviously his eyes are not that high up. Essentially, it's kind of like if you do this shape, like a triangle, but then you add the oval, and then you just erase some of it. If you ever wanted to draw kind of like anime-ish eyes, you can do that technique. Draw a triangle and oval, and then you got this sort of shape. You can always erase. At the eyes, obviously his eyes are not really that big; they're kind of small. So let's say I put it right here, actually, eyes, and then I erase some of it for highlights. The hair, the forehead is kind of big, so if anything, the forehead will be higher than this. It'll be somewhere up here. Which is a very common thing to do in anime. That's why they tell you to do a circle and then afterwards you don't block it out with the shape, the squares and stuff like that, eyeline, and so on and so forth. You're cutting the circle in half and cutting it in 3/4. No, half and 3/4, then a quarter of that, and a quarter of that. Then it ends right there, then another end, and so on and so forth. We already know all this. So let's get started with the drawing I already have in place. Because if you notice, I already have a pre-sketch drawing for this video. And I did this to save up on time and so on and so forth. But like usual, it's gonna be a 15 minutes thing. I'm gonna be doing a sketch over sketch. So a refinement sketch essentially, because you know some people do more than one sketches. Sometimes I tend to do that. I do more than one sketch, so then you know you get more detail done in the second one. But it's good for practice essentially. So let's press start and you know let's get started. I already pressed it, so I'm gonna go for this color. Now, if you notice on Sketchbook Pro, I already have some colors that I picked out. So I'm gonna do that. Trying to not to focus too much on the lines, but focus enough on it that I can kind of see what sort of shape they're supposed to be making without actually focusing to the point that it actually ends up distracting me from it. Yeah, the two nostrils. I already have a basic math done already, so if anything, I just scale it, like bring it down a little. All the line work is getting done with this bluish thing, color, but bluish pencil. I'm using my regular pencil tool that I normally used to using for all the videos. And you can actually download this one. I customized it afterwards, so it's more adjusted to what I like to draw like. But you can always customize your own. Let's see. For the eyes, I actually no, not mirror. Um, I'll just do the technique that I was showing you guys to do. So, triangle, triangle. Okay. You already get like this overall feeling of it being intensely angry, and then afterwards you just find some of the edges. Erase some of it. Adjust it. You know, just trace over some of it. Make sure that the corner is really noticeable. That it's the little corner. And for this portion, his eye kind of looks like, well, the eyebrow kind of looks like it covers it. Not all the time, but it does sometimes. I'm gonna have it just be like that. Now let's replicate this really quickly in this other side. You know, the shape, circular-ish area. Like if you're adding the oval, make sure that it's somewhat accurate to both, because you know it's not gonna be perfect in both sides. But you know, if you could get it to be as accurate as possible, that will help out a lot. I think this one needs to get brought up just a tiny amount. So Right up like that. And then brought this up a little too. Maybe not too big. I think I made that side way too big. It's something you gotta watch out for, not to make your eyes too big compared to one side compared to the other. So okay. If anything, I'm just gonna take this eye right here and then just rotate it a little. Get it up. Yeah, that looks fine. Make sure I get out of the selection tool. Actually, I'll select this one and then scale this one down a tiny bit. Let's compare the eyes. As you can tell, one is clearly bigger than the other. So this one, let's bring it back to the place it was. If we were to do a shape of a circle around this whole entire area on a separate layer, the same circle should be able to fit in that one. Oh, I just did it in the wrong layer. Okay, the same circle should fit right there. So I'm gonna take this circle and then bring it over. And as you can tell, even if I rotate it a tiny bit, because obviously gonna be like that, it should have been fitting, but it's not. Meaning this one is too closed up. So I'm gonna adjust it accordingly. I'm trying not to lose too much detail on some of the things. No. Right. See, now that looks a little bit better. Let's have his eyes looking down. Quickly. Get out of the eraser. That's like the best thing about digital drawing compared to the traditional. You can always like check things more than once to make sure it's more accurate compared to digital where no traditional where you gotta make sure that your drawing is more accurate in the traditional sense. But you got more leniency. More lenient. Okay. I like it. Probably too much highlight. Anything. I'm gonna make sure that there's not that much of a highlight. Boom. It's like if you're drawing Pac-Man in his eyes. I used to draw eyes like this a lot. His the Pac-Man looking eyes. I think the mouth is way too high. Probably like lower it a little. But I'm gonna go here and then do this to it first, and then I'll select it and lower it. Then lower it just a tiny bit. Yeah, that looks a lot better. See, if you're ever trying to do a drawing of a character, just make sure that your proportions on the face are the most accurate. Most people care more about how the face looks because that's what most people are gonna be staring at compared to how the overall feeling of like the clothing looks. As long as you get the clothing looks decent, most people won't care. So I'm gonna do very rough sketches for the clothing. Have it tucking in there. And folding upwards. Obviously this is a scarf. the scarf going downwards, that, and then going up. Scarf. Maybe. Yeah. If anything, I could always have a scarf covering up a little bit more on one side than the other. And obviously, bold lines. What else? Let's add the hair because that's really important. If anything, I'll merge that down. I'll add the hair separately really quickly. And I'm gonna put the hair like that. That. Kind of going over it. Over his. You know what? I'm just gonna do the hair in a different, what's it called, color. So then you could tell it's his hair. Maybe this. Natsu tends to have his hair kind of like looking out to the side. That. For some odd reason. But it's not like completely like that. It's more like bended upwards. So, gotta make sure to do that. Move around. Make sure you get tiny hair pieces in there too. Of course, the big ones are the important ones. Round them out. So it's not completely. So as you get the hair to look kind of like the character, and you get the right colors, everything will fall into place. Hair there. I want a area right here that's just like flat. Hair going this way. Its ear, obviously. Go back to this. I have his ear kind of like right there. Now, I'm not trying to go into too many details with the ear, so really rough ear shape. And like usual, the technique that I showed you guys for the inside of the ear, you can try it out. It works really decently well. What else? Let's add more hair. This side. Hair coming out through this corner. And as you can see, I draw the hair in a different layer, and that's in case I need to do like some minor tweaking to it, and I can always do that, and it won't affect the face. And I think that should be it. And then I can always just go back to the face and then erase some of this area right here. Actually, all this area right here. Any area that gets covered up by the hair, essentially. Now it's starting to come out looking nice. What else? Let me put on my headset. Hoping the alarm hasn't gone off. I should have had it on for a while. But let's see. Wow, I barely got any time. See, this is what happens when when you're trying to focus on a lot of details. The difference between doing a very detailed drawing and doing a non-very detailed drawing is very obvious. The time that it takes is completely different. And even like this, I wasn't able. I don't think I'll be able to finish it. So, do the little scarf. I'm just doing like what really squiggly lines, and it's not trying to be perfect, essentially. And you know, eventually, in the future, I could do lines that are more precise. But right now, I'm not going for that. I was gonna do the fairy tale emblem on it, but pretty sure most people could tell it's not so just by looking at it. Okay, obviously the clothing follows its own rules, so make sure it goes above the skin. Everything has thicknesses, so the skin layer is gonna be underneath. That's gonna be lower. That, and this. I like the chicken legs sort of technique. You're essentially go trying to make sure that everything it's oh man, I did it all those drawings on the wrong layer, didn't I? Yeah, I did. Whatever, as long as it gets the point across, right? Oh, that's the timer. That's completely scared me inside. I was like, oh shit, like mentally. So I'm just uh erase like hide that, and that's pretty much the sketch that I got done in that period of time. Yeah. Uh-huh. There. Oh, that doesn't look right. Yeah. That is surprisingly louder than I thought. Where's it? Okay. Well, thank you all for joining me for this Natsu fan art drawing. I know I didn't really get everything done, but this is pretty much what I got done. If anything, you know what? I'm just gonna take like a couple more minutes, like 5 minutes or something, to do as much of the coloring done as I can possibly get. Heck, and if I could get even the emblem on it, that'll be perfect. Even if it's like a rough emblem, as long as I get something. So let me quickly do that. You know, I'll call this a 20-minute drawing video instead of a 15. So it's a 15-minute drawing sketch of the day, but with an additional 5 minutes for details, like usual. But it's instead of, I say usual because in the last couple of videos I haven't done it, but in the previous videos when I first started the series, I would at least take 2 or 5 minutes to do details. So I'm just gonna put 5. No, yeah, 5 and then 0, 0, and then just press start. Okay, now detail time, that will be done with this. I'll pick a skin color that I think is good. I think this is a good skin color. And go underneath everything. And then just color it in really quickly. I think it needs to be bigger, the brush. What's this brush? Oh yeah, that feels a lot better. He was supposed to have his hand on fire or something like that, but I didn't do that. Okay, now that I got all those colors done out of the way, let me add a layer above that, and then I'll have this one be the main dark color for the hair. And I'm gonna hide this. and then do like that. Let's see if I could do this really quick selection. On this layer or something. Just gonna select all of this area. I'm doing this very rough selection on a layer that I can only see the lines. So I can always just trace over the line work, essentially. And then afterwards, just go back here, and then I press the fill tool, like the fill. Oh no, wrong there. Fill that in this layer, and then Shift Control I or something to invert it, and press backspace. Yeah, and then just deselect everything. Take away the fill tool, and then I'm gonna put this right there. Probably turn down the opacity just a tiny bit so you can kind of see the line work. Kind of, not too much. Don't know how much time we'll have, so I'm gonna really quickly what's it called? Go over some of this. I'm not trying to focus too much on the details. Just really rough work, really rough work. Come on. And why is this so hidden? Okay, there. Oh, wrong way. Okay, that looks fine. What else? I'm gonna do a layer above this. One layer, and then I'm just gonna select very white yellowish color. And I'm just gonna paint it over this area and over this area. I'm gonna have this be underneath the line work, so then you can see the eyes. Maybe actually I'll just do white. Yeah, that works. Teeth also. Highlight on the nose. I don't know. Fairy tale emblem. Let's do this. Let's do this. It's gonna be something like that. That body. Head. Down. Tattoo. Boom. Fairy tale emblem. Really quickly. Now I'll lock this. I'm gonna select this other color, and then I'm just gonna quickly shade. It's gonna be rough shading. Not gonna be perfect shading. I'm surprised the timer hasn't gone off by now. I thought by now it would have gone off. I don't want to like get lost in the idea of it possibly going off anytime soon. Oh, I mentioned it and it goes off. Shuffs. Man, I feel kind of like if I just needed like 1 more minute to do the clothing, and I'll be like, yes, I'm done. But yeah, the rough coloring and everything is there and everything like that. So that's out of the way. I think I'm happy. I'm still gonna do the more detailed work really quickly. Just rough coloring. I pick that. Maybe just darken it up just a tiny bit. And for that, I'm actually gonna do a really quick selection. It's gonna be. And I'm just gonna press Shift so I can select more. Like this portion too. And then I'm just gonna press the fill tool, boom, fill that portion up, deselect it, and orange, really quickly. Pass this orange around the corners. Oh no. Lock it, and then pass orange around the corners. Boom. That is the drawing of Natsu Dragneel. It's a fan drawn drawing. Obviously, it's not supposed to be a very long fan drawn drawing. As long as I get the point across of what is going on in the whole entire piece of work, I am happy. And hopefully, you guys enjoyed this 30-minute drawing. Holy crap, 30 minutes. How does this work? Yeah, that looks kind of cool. 30-minute drawing ish sort of drawing, and so on and so forth. If you guys did, press the like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell for more content like this. If you didn't like it, just let me know. I can always adjust it to your liking. I'm kidding, no. If you liked it, like usual, comment down below and tell me what you did like about it, so then I could get be made aware of it. Multiply maybe, yeah. Flame. Now we got a drawing of Natsu Dragneel in under 30 minutes. I'm saying 30 minutes this time around because obviously I spent a little bit of time for that and that, and I think it came out nice compared to my old drawing of a Naruto that actually took me way longer to draw than this very rough drawing of Natsu. I think overall it's good. Could it be better? Yes, it can, without a doubt. And if you guys ever wanted to pick out colors like what I just did, the colors are right here. Just go to Copic selection and find the colors. For this one, it's right there. It's smoky purple. I'll also use this what's it called? Deep magenta. If you have any questions on the colors, you can always just look up the RV or YR82 or something like that, and you can find them. These are the colors I use for this drawing. You can use the same. I'm not gonna say, oh, you took my colors or anything like that, because I'm essentially just picking them up based upon what I think the colors are. Anyways, thank you for joining me for this wonderful video. Hopefully you did like it.